I spent weeks researching slushy machines, and I have to tell you something that genuinely blew my mind. There are now machines you can keep at home that do exactly what those massive ones at petrol stations and cinemas do. I'm not talking about throwing ice into a blender and hoping for the best. I'm talking about pouring in any liquid, pressing a button, and getting a proper creamy slushy out the other end. All these products are available in Europe, and I've left every link down in the description, but stick around because there are things you need to know before buying any of them. Starting with this. Every single one of these machines needs the liquid to contain sugar or some form of dissolved solute that lowers the freezing point. If you pour in tap water or a Diet Coke straight from the can, it freezes into a solid block, the internal auger can snap, and that's your machine done. There's a workaround using liquid allulose for sugar-free recipes, but the basic rule is that one. Right, let's get into the 7 best ones. The Ninja Slushie is the one that started this whole craze, and it's still the benchmark. Look, I was pretty skeptical about the whole concept, but the first time I switched it on, I stood there staring at the machine thinking it was broken because it made absolutely no noise. Nothing. The compressor is so quiet it feels like it's not even running, and yet in about 40 minutes you've got a perfect slushie. But what really blows me away is that it can hold that texture for 12 hours without going watery or melting down. Think about it. You load up a batch of your favorite fruity mix first thing on Saturday morning, go do your shopping, come back, set up the barbecue, and the machine is still there dispensing perfect slushy glass after glass while you do absolutely nothing. The sensors are quite clever too. They warn you if the mix doesn't have enough sugar before you wreck anything. The trade-off is that it takes up a fair bit of worktop space, and there's no creamy ice cream mode, which is something others do offer. But if what you want is rock-solid reliability and the ability to forget about it while it works, the Ninja is in a league of its own. Now brace yourself, because the Vivor is the exact opposite. If the Ninja is the elegant, silent machine, the Vivor is the loud beast in the garage that freezes anything you throw at it. It's built from 304 grade stainless steel, runs R290 refrigerant like professional bar machines, and when the compressor kicks in, it makes a noise that the first time around you'll genuinely think something has broken in your kitchen. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But the raw power this thing has is absolutely mental. I used it in the middle of August on a terrace in blistering heat, and it churned out batch after batch of frozen drinks without even flinching. That doesn't happen with smaller machines because the ambient heat tanks their performance and they start struggling. After-sales support runs through email and can be slow, so you need to be a bit handy in case something goes wrong. For big outdoor parties or if you've got a proper home drink station set up, nothing on this list touches the Vivor for sheer power. Speaking of machines with character, the Secatec Twist and Ice 2600 really caught me off guard. It's Spanish-made, has a compact design that doesn't look like a spaceship on your worktop, and comes with 6 modes including ones that adjust the freezing cycle for different liquid densities. That sounds like marketing fluff, but it actually works. The algorithm adjusts the freezing process based on the density of the liquid, and the result is noticeably different between a thicker juice and a thin squash. The perfect dinner party move with this machine is pouring a couple of liters of your favorite drink into the tank and 20 to 60 minutes later serving a creamy frozen slushy straight into glasses from the drip-free tap. Every part that touches liquid is dishwasher safe, which at 10 at night when you're clearing up is a massive relief. What you do need to know is that juices with pulp have to be strained first, because seeds or bits of fruit will clog the dispensing nozzle. And here's the big one. This machine does have a creamy ice cream mode, something the Ninja doesn't offer at all. You lose that 12-hour texture hold, but in return you get a machine that does slushies one day and churns out decent homemade ice cream the next. If you want one appliance that covers everything in a small footprint, this is phenomenal. The Seeger Super Slush takes a completely different approach. This is the Control Freaks machine, and I say that with affection. 7 modes, a full-color touchscreen, and one option the others don't have, a mode that just chills without freezing, which for lemonades or iced teas in summer is brilliant. With its instant freeze technology and liquid already cold from the fridge, you can have a slushie in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That's faster than ordering a takeaway. The fans do make themselves heard during the process, and the self-cleaning feature they market so heavily is basically soapy water spinning around, so you end up having to take it apart and scrub by hand anyway. The rubber seals come incredibly stiff, and they're tough to fit the first few times. You need a bit of patience and some elbow grease. If you compare it directly with the Secatec, the Seeger gives you more modes and faster freezing, but the Secatec is far easier to clean and maintain day to day. Right? If you've got young children at home, pay close attention to this next one. The Medion MD12090 is a German machine that isn't winning any beauty contests, I'll give you that. But it has a hardware-level electronic child lock that no other machine on this list replicates with the same solidity. It's not some software button that's easy to bypass, it's a real lock that stops kids from activating the auger or pulling the dispensing lever. Picture this: Sunday afternoon, film on the sofa, the machine working away in the kitchen with the little ones running around, and you don't have to worry about a thing. On top of that, and I think this is massive, Medion has an online spare parts shop where you can order any individual component for very little money. If the auger snaps because you accidentally ran a sugar-free drink through it, you order a new one and it arrives in days. With other brands, if something breaks, you're buying a whole new machine. It takes up to 60 minutes to freeze at full capacity, which is slower than the Seeger, but for a family that wants something safe and built to last years, there's nothing better. And now the million-pound question. What if you want something that feels a lot like the Ninja but without paying what the Ninja costs? The Innoviva S 1.2 is exactly that. Same concept, same type of compressor, available in 2 and 2.6 liter sizes, and 5 modes including a dedicated setting for denser liquids that not even the Ninja has. You can load the big tank with a few liters of your favorite punch for a party, and the algorithm adjusts the freezing to produce a dense, elegant sorbet that genuinely impresses. What it lacks is a timer or any kind of progress indicator, so you have to walk over and check by eye whether it's ready. The child lock reactivates on its own constantly, and you have to unlock it every single time you want to pour, which, when you've got guests standing there with empty glasses, gets a bit maddening. With very sugary or dense mixes, it's worth keeping an eye on it, because if you leave it too long after it freezes, it tends to overchurn the mixture until the tap barely lets anything through. Even so, for what it costs compared to the Ninja, it's an absolute bargain. To wrap up, the Fohir 88 ounce. This is the one you buy when your problem isn't quality, but quantity. 2.6 liters, up to 9 glasses per batch, 12 hours of hold time just like the Ninja. You make the slushies at noon, and when the last guests arrive at 10 at night, they're still perfect. The design is attractive, with finishes that feel genuinely premium and side ventilation grills that stop the compressor from overheating. With a tank that big, sometimes the liquid at the top doesn't circulate down to the freezing cylinder quite evenly, so every now and then give it a couple of stirs with a long spoon to make sure the texture stays uniform. And one tip I wish I'd known from the start: if the tap starts dripping, apply a bit of food-safe lubricant to the O-rings and the problem vanishes instantly for months. So which one's for you? If budget's no issue and you want the best with zero hassle, Ninja Slushie, hands down. If you want something very similar for considerably less, Innoviva. Big parties where you need volume, Fohir. Raw professional-grade power and you don't mind the noise, Vivor. European kitchen with a taste for versatility and ice cream thrown in, Secotec. Family with kids and a long-term mindset, Medion. Obsessive control over every setting, Seeger. All the links are in the description, and if this was useful, subscribe and let me know in the comments which one you're going for.